Hello and welcome to Baking and Log. My name is Gunnar Larson and today we're going to be making some meatball sandwiches. You can see we have our ingredients and they are some salt. You'll need garlic cloves, or you can use, I'm using this garlic powder because it has the garlic that you need in it, of course, but it also has parsley, which you need for this as well. Some black ground pepper, 3/4 pound of ground up beef, 3/4 pound of sausage, 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs. Now these are Italian style breadcrumbs, so it's got some extra seasoning in it. Then you'll also need some ragu pizza sauce and some Hawaiian rolls. I'm using Hawaiian rolls because they're small and I enjoy the taste of them, but you can probably use any kind of bread or bun that you would like to use. Well, now that we have our ingredients, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to need to do to make these meatballs is we're going to need to just throw all this stuff together, basically. So we've got our ground beef here. Then you're going to need 3/4 pound of sausage. So I'm just gonna cut a bit. I'm also going to put the eggs in there. So what you have to remember about your meat and your eggs is that it's all raw. So I always put mine in first, like the meat and stuff, and then I'm going to wash my hands with soap so that I do not cross-contaminate to any of these other things, because you could get really sick and that would suck. So take a break, wash your hands, and we'll be right back. Alright, so now that our hands are clean and not contaminated anymore, we're going to start putting in the rest of the things. 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese, 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs, 1/2 teaspoon of black ground pepper. Now for the garlic powder, you're going to need either 3 freshly minced garlic cloves or 3/4 teaspoon of this garlic powder. And finally, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so now that all of our ingredients in there, this needs to be mixed together. And there are 2 ways you can do this. You can either be proper and fancy and clean and elegant and use a KitchenAid or, you know, even a hand mixer. But here on Log, we're not fancy, we're not elegant. We're going to use our bare hands and we're just gonna mush all this together, because that's another way it can be done. So you're gonna roll your sleeves up and just get in there. Just grab it and crunch it all together. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, hello? My producer wants me to mention that make sure you wash your hands again before this. All right, thanks, bye. All right, back to mixing it up. Just scrunch it, just grab it all, just mix it together. Really feel the ingredients. That's what great chefs do. They become one with the food, and not just the food as the finished product, but the food is like the ingredients that are within the food. You just got to become one with it. Smells great. Smells really good. Like, oof. Okay, so once this is all mixed together, with this, the key is you need to make sure everything is well combined. So that means that the ground beef and the pork and the eggs and the bread and the pepper and the salt and the garlic is all mixed together. Because if not, it might fall apart. Like the meatballs themselves, when you roll them up, might fall apart, and that will be really bad. So just make sure everything's mixed together very well, and then we're going to bring this over to the stove and start making the balls and put them into the pan. Okay, so we have moved to the stove. We have a non-stick pan, our meatball mixture, and we're going to need to put in 1/2 cup of olive oil. So when making the meatballs, like the balls themselves, I like to use this little cookie dough scoop. Now it's not really an ice cream scoop because those can be pretty big, but this is a cookie dough scoop. So I'm just gonna take a bit, roll it till you get this nice meatball, and I'm just gonna put it in the pan. And I'm gonna do this until all the meatball mixture is used up. Alright, so you don't want these too close together, the meatballs themselves, so I'm not going to put in all of the meat for this first batch. I've got a little bit left and I'll do that for the second one. But we turned our stove up to medium and we're going to just let these cook. You want to keep a pretty close eye on them because once they start to brown, you're going to use a spatula or a tong, whichever one you prefer, to rotate or flip them over. Hello. So as you can see, our meatballs are now done, but they're really greasy. So we got some napkins here, and we're going to drain them kind of by just patting them on the napkins, and these will absorb the grease, and then we'll just have the meatballs. So let's get to it. Okay, so now that our meatballs have been cooked and the grease has been off of them, we're going to now marinate them or saute them in our sauce. We've got some pizza sauce, ragu. Just gonna pour it in there. And then we're going to turn this to low. And then we're just gonna start putting our meatballs in there. Just gonna start flipping them over, mixing them around, make sure they get all covered up. You go ahead and add the rest. Just gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes, just like this. I might actually go ahead and cover it, and then we'll get back to it here in a little bit. Okay, so now that our meatballs have been sauteed and cooked, we're going to then assemble our sandwiches. I have our Hawaiian rolls, meatballs, mozzarella cheese, and some spinach leaves. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to, with a serrated knife, cut our bun in half, but don't cut all the way through. We want it to be like a mouth, and then with your fingers just pinch out a little bit of the middle, and this is where our meatball is gonna go. We're just gonna take a spoon, grab a little bit of meatball, a little bit of sauce, put it right in there like so. Sprinkle a little bit of mozzarella cheese on the top, and we're gonna put one spinach leaf right there. And then we're gonna put it there. And there's our sandwich. We're just gonna do this until either our meatballs are all done or our buns are all done. Well, that's it today, guys. I will tell you this. These are pretty good. I really enjoyed making these today. Like I said though, this is like the third time I've made these meatballs in like 4 days. But that's good because they are good. I really enjoy them. Like I said, I had a blast making these. These were really fun to make, really easy. If I had more buns, I could probably make 6 or 7 more of these. But I ran out of buns, and that's all right. But you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and munch into one of these right here. Very good. Well, anyways, thanks for joining me today. I hope if you guys make these, you enjoy them just as much as I do. Don't forget to leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video. See you next week. Hey guys, so if you enjoyed this video, please click here to subscribe. And if you'd like to check out other videos, you can look right here. I'm pointing like there's something there, but there's nothing here right now. Hopefully I edited this correctly and you see something.